gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
A gunman wearing a bulletproof vest has opened fire with an assault weapon in the American city of Philadelphia. He blasted more than 50 shots, killing 4 people and wounding others, including children.
Damn. Now, bruh came through with the bulletproof vest like he was in a Call of Duty game. And a lot of times our perspective of the suspect or the culprit who would be responsible for something like this is skewed. And it is skewed for kind of odd reasons, right? Because even if you look at the mass shooting numbers, most of the mass shootings in the United States, unfortunately, are by way of patrons in the community or gentlemen in the community, okay? And you know, so whenever we think of mass shooting, we think, oh, you know, white kid, you know, going crazy at the school or whatnot, going to a mall and doing damage because he ain't, you know, clapping no cheeks or something. But the reality is the majority of mass shootings are done by these super gremlins on demon time.
More from Jonathan Kersley.
Grainy images from a city security camera that zooms in on a gunman on the move. Then a blast. Shots fired at civilians.
He's wearing a white shirt, black pants, he's got a handgun, he's shooting.
His random rampage in Philadelphia deadly. 4 people killed, most aged in their 20s. 2 children, aged 2 and 13, were injured. Someone shot back at the gunman, who was still firing as police gave chase and eventually cornered the 40-year-old.
This male was wearing a bulletproof vest with multiple magazines in the vest. He also had a scanner and an AR-style rifle and a handgun underneath his body.
He was taken into custody. America's 339th mass shooting in 184 days this year in the birthplace of American democracy. On the night before Independence Day, a celebration for Americans. Hours earlier, firearms were front of mind as city officials warned against celebratory gunfire to mark the national holiday.
You have no right whatsoever to break the law by firing a weapon in the air. What goes up comes down.
And you know, in Philly, for the 4th of July weekend, the community was letting them things go. Because in Philly, shooting a firearm happens every night, and you know, ninjas die every day, B, right? So that's kind of commonplace in the city of Philadelphia, especially now. Last time I checked, they're averaging about 500 murders for the past few years. So they've got a lot of work to do.
But the gun violence death toll won't come down. In the United States, Jonathan Kersley, 9 News.
A press conference there in Philadelphia regarding the mass shooting there Monday that killed 5 people and left dozens others injured. For more, I want to bring in ABC News' Trevor Alt and ABC contributor and former San Bernardino Police Chief Jared Bergwan. And Trevor, I'll start with you. We heard from a number of people just now, but still no mention of a possible motive for this mass shooting. What were some of your takeaways from what we just heard?
I would say 2 main takeaways, Alexis, and I say this having listened to a lot of these press conferences following mass shootings. And number 1 is the point that we cannot forget, which is that the reverberations of something like this are so much larger than the number assigned to the death count or those wounded who happen to be struck by bullets. I mean, this is about an entire community that's going to take a really long time to heal, and many families who likely will never heal.
And I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, okay, the immediate family members, they may not heal 100%, but as far as the community, I mean, it's business as usual. And that's the sad reality and the sad state of affairs, that the community has found itself in the city of brotherly love. Okay, constant mass shootings, constant violence, constant bullets flying. And this is nothing new for Philly. So, yeah, they had a mass shooting and 4 people were deleted and 20 people were injured. But let me tell you what, that is a common occurrence in the community. So there will be no, elongated healing process where ninjas is out in the street singing Kumbaya. It's never going to happen. At least not right now or in my lifetime. So, yeah, we can make a big deal of this, but we need to be making a big deal of all of these shootings across the whole country, all right? And not just the mass shootings, all right? Because the type of content that I cover on my channel is not allowed to be spread. And that's why I'm going straight to Patreon. And that's why you guys need to go ahead and get on the Patreon, because I'm not going to be on YouTube long. So I'm going to go balls to the wall. I'm going to go hard and I'm not going to stop. But I need you guys' support, because unless this is even acknowledged in the community, which it is not acknowledged at all, then we're not going to see any change.
It's the result of this violence. And you heard that from speaker after speaker after speaker about how this is so much bigger than the 7 people that we know that were shot, and that the 2-year-old who was grazed by a bullet. This is about everybody that lives in that neighborhood. And I also think it was important for all of these representatives from different agencies, different activist groups. This shooting happened in a part of Philadelphia that is a high percentage of the people that live there are people of color. A high percentage of people who live there are impoverished. I think it was really important for them to set the tone that this shooting doesn't matter less than any other shooting that you might hear somewhere else. That was one of my main takeaways, that they were trying to make that point. The second is something that I picked up at other press conferences too, hearing to medical professionals dealing with gun violence, and that is that they are tired. They have to do this over and over and over again, and it's not something that's just despairing because you hear what they have to deal with in terms of gun violence, and you think that it's a tough day for them at the office. It's that they sound defeated when they talk about it. I mean, you're talking to a doctor and a nurse who are saying, we're dealing with stuff like this every single day. Now, what happened 2 days ago was particularly bad, of course, but to hear day in and day out what they're having to deal with, you can understand the exasperation from their perspective and from officials' perspective. And you tip your cap to absolutely everybody in this community and communities across the country who are doing what they can in response to this gun violence. But you realize how desperate everyone is to make some sort of change to prevent this, because America continuing down this road is just going to cause more despair.
And that's such an important point that you make, Trevor. And I know that we heard from a couple of people talking just now during that press conference about how they are implementing community outreach and how the community has gone through this tragic event together. And
community outreach. But when have we seen this so-called community outreach really work, right? And I know it's one person at a time, one kid at a time, whatnot. But that's not changing the violence. We got more community outreach programs than ever now today, and the violence is only increasing. So, we need a more harsh, more strict solution. Otherwise, it's going to be, the fat lady's going to be singing. That
they do need help in the aftermath. Jared, again, not a lot of new information learned here during this press conference. Why do you think that is? And were you expecting to hear more?
Well, I think it sounds like it's a strategic decision on the part of the DA's office to use this press conference to spread this particular message. And that's not to undermine the importance of helping a community heal and understanding the impact of these incidents. I'm sure they have information. They know that the public wants more information. And I don't know if they're going to get to it at the end of the press conference, but for whatever reason, they made a strategic decision not to start with that and to start with something very different. That's a little disappointing.
All right, Jared, Trevor, we thank you for your time today.
Well, we turn now to the latest.
Go.
Wave of deadly gun violence in the United States. Nationwide, 21 people have been killed and 124 injured in mass shootings in just the first 5 days of this month. Well, today, the suspect accused of killing 5 people and injuring 2 children in Philadelphia on Monday was arraigned on murder charges.
And I guarantee that 90% of those people who were, 21 victims of mass shootings, I guarantee 90% of them came out of the community. First 5 days of July. There's no doubt in my mind.
CBS's Lilia Luciano reports from the outside of the courthouse.
Tonight, officials in Philadelphia say Kimbrady Carriker posted disturbing messages on social media and left a will at his house before going on a rampage Monday evening.
And let's look at the supervillain of the hour, Kimbrady Carriker. Okay? And he left a will. And I'm sure in his will, I don't know why they're not calling it a manifesto. But does it really... Can his will really stand? Did this brother even have anything to pass down? Right? So why are they calling it a will? If he's going to crash out like this, I'm assuming that he had nothing to lose. So it's interesting how they frame these different these letters that are left by different individuals who commit these atrocities.
And left a will at his house before going on a rampage Monday evening. Surveillance video shows the moment the suspect appears to open fire.
So far as we know, this defendant did not know any of the victims. There was no dispute between him and any of the victims.
Carriker was charged today with 5 counts of first-degree murder and held without bail.
Dang.
After police say he carried an AR-15 style rifle and a 9mm ghost gun to the Kingsessing neighborhood and opened fire at random, killing 5 people. Meanwhile, surveillance footage released today appears to show the moment a gunman opened fire on a crowd in Fort Worth, Texas, late Monday night. 11 people were shot, 3 killed.
Damn.
2 days later...
I told y'all about these large gatherings in the community. I'm going to have to do a story on that one. This is too... what
a gunman opened...
Look at this, man. Y'all, what are we doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I can't even count them, bro. I told y'all about these large gatherings. Fort Worth, Texas. I'm putting y'all on notice. I am commanding a 90-day suspension of all large gatherings of, let's say, 3 or more in the community. 90 days. If we just do 90 days, I guarantee we can get our mass shooter numbers down, okay? We can get our mass shooter numbers way down.
Surveillance footage released today appears to show the moment a gunman opened fire on a crowd in Fort Worth, Texas, late Monday night. 11 people were shot, 3 killed.
Damn.
2 days later, police still have no motive and no suspects.
My family is heartbroken. This shouldn't have happened.
These are just 2 of about 20 mass shootings since the beginning of July. Just overnight, across the country, there were at least 6 mass shootings, killing at least 5 people and injuring 41.
I'm going to miss that beautiful smile.
Back in Philly, family members and community leaders gathered today to mourn. 31-year-old Joseph Wama loved art.
I really love him. And the fact that you did this to us, for your own agenda, for your own reason, it's just really pissing me off.
Yeah, I mean, we can't really tell if you're pissed off. With all due respect, there needs to be more anger, and really only the anger can only come from the sisters. Black men, we've been angry. Hell, we're the casualties and the culprits. So it kind of falls on deaf ears when the brothers is talking, especially since we are in a matriarchal community. you know, they just kind of write us off like, y'all the ones doing it anyway. You need to check your homeboy. You need to check this one. So, I mean, that's what I be getting in my comments. So I'm going to continue to talk, but I can understand if other brothers are discouraged on speaking about these things. Okay. You get called a lame, a ninja, especially by sisters, if you know, don't approve of the violent measures that the community are taking in order to push, you know, whatever agenda, which is really not an agenda. It's really just, you know, a blink of the moment, you know, stupid decision. But in this case, yes, this man had some sort of agenda, and we will see that later. But like I said, more outrage from the sisters, and I guarantee we'll start to see some type of change. Like I said, you know, brothers like me, yes, we speak up, but most of the brothers are discouraged from speaking up. Brothers like me are discouraged from speaking up. I just don't give a damn, honestly. So that's why I speak up, because I don't care if the community like, oh, you a lame a ninja and da-da-da-da. I don't care. Okay, my self-esteem is not contingent on how the community thinks about me. Okay, my self-esteem is based off of my accomplishments. Okay, my physical health, my physical attractiveness. You feel me? Okay, got the pearly whites. But anyways, let's keep moving.
Today, the city of Philadelphia filed a lawsuit against some of the largest suppliers of ghost guns and ghost gun kits, which describes that type of untraceable weapon that the shooter was carrying. Carriker.
Lilia Luciano in Philadelphia, thank you.
Yo, what's good, BGZM News 17 family? I'm at the corner of Jesse Jackson and Marcus Garvey, and I got some bad news for you. As you can see, I lost my job. I'm out here living in cardboard boxes outside of boarded up vacant homes. YouTube said I'm done getting money out here in these streets. They even took my funky ass suit. So anything right now would help. So go ahead and hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that GoFundMe. Hell, cop the merch. Or if you want to make the long-term commitment to the Jinquavius Jackson Fund, join the Patreon so that I can continue to put out top-notch content each and every day. Also, check out the Rumble, where there is absolutely no censorship. Link in the description box below.
Hey, yo, ain't that nigga Jinquavius? Yo, I recognize.
No, that's not me no more.
Hey, yo, run your property.
Y'all tell me what they say.
Do the opposite of Antonio Brown and take
what
all your
more
store.
Do you want from me?
The suspect accused of killing 5 people in Kingsessing on Monday is now facing 5 murder charges. 40-year-old Kimbrady Carriker was arraigned this morning via video. More than 24 charges were read to Carriker virtually. In less than an hour, expecting an update from prosecutors. Meanwhile, reporter Matt Pachurlo is live in Southwest Philadelphia with the very latest. Good afternoon, Matt.
Hey, Jim, good afternoon to you. Prosecutors are expected to provide more details about the case at a 1 o'clock news conference. That will happen at the Salt and Light Church here in Southwest Philadelphia. And today we learn more about this suspect. Prosecutors identified him as 40-year-old Kimbrady Carriker. He faces 11 charges, including murder, attempted murder, and reckless endangerment. He folded his arms in court today as the charges were read.
And you know, the judge is looking at that. So this is another point that I haven't expounded upon in a minute. When we talk about disproportionate sentencing, and yes, okay, we can go tit for tat and you know, this person got this charge and they did the same crime and this person got this charge and all that kind of stuff, right? We can go tit for tat with that, but a lot of, you know, the way that the judge hands down your sentencing, obviously it's sentencing guidelines and to the discretion of the judge, right? But it also has to do with your character and your attitude and your remorse in the courtroom. And this brother by, you know, with his body language, with his antisocial behavior, he shows no remorse and folds his arms after he just took the loved ones of people from his own community.
Prosecutors say he lives on Belmar Terrace, just a few blocks from Monday's shooting, where 5 victims were killed. Their ages ranged from 15 to 59 years old. There were also several others injured. A 13-year-old was shot multiple times in the legs and survived. Sources say a 2-year-old was also shot in the leg but survived, and another 2-year-old was hit with broken windows that shattered in the shooting. Now, Carriker remains locked up in jail without bail. Again, we are now awaiting that 1 o'clock news conference. We'll be streaming that live online. We're now reporting live in Southwest Philly. I'm Matt Petrollo. Jim, back to you.
Thank you, Matt.
But the big story in Action News tonight is new developments in the investigation into that mass shooting in Kingsessing. Today, the 40-year-old suspect, Kimbrady Carriker, was charged with the murder of 5 people. Carriker also faces a slew of charges related to 5 survivors of...
Wow, so he actually deleted 5 people.
The rampage. New details have also emerged about the suspect's mental state and his arsenal of weapons. This as family members of the victims continue to grieve their sudden and senseless loss. Action News reporter Maggie Kent is live tonight. With more. Maggie.
Well, Rick, we heard from investigators who took Carriker into custody, allegedly responsible for killing those 5 people in Kingsessing on Monday. He was heavily armed, also wearing a bulletproof vest, and when they started to search his home, they found more weapons, ammunition, and a will dated June 23rd, less than 2 weeks before the shooting. Kimbrady Carriker was in court this morning, charged with 5 counts of murder, 10 counts of attempted murder, weapons, and assault charges. Investigators say he showed signs to family of growing agitation before carrying out this mass shooting in Kingsessing.
That was the norm.
So the family saying he showed signs of aggression and agitation.
For him, wearing this vest and having guns in the house. But they all described that he was becoming more and more agitated over the last couple of days.
So it seems like he was wearing a vest for his protection initially, and he normally wore this vest, and then it just devolved into something sinister.
Tyreek Glasgow is a mentor and founder of Young Chances Foundation. Today he mourns the loss of 2 people, the youngest and eldest victims.
It hurts. You know, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
His cousin, 59-year-old Ralph Morales, was excited to walk his daughter down the aisle in her wedding next week.
He was the one that, regardless of any family function, had that smile.
Glasgow was a mentor to 15-year-old DeJuan Brown, killed protecting his 13-year-old brother from gunfire. The younger boy was hit twice in the legs, but will survive.
When he seen his family, his brother in distress shot, he went back to help.
Wow, man.
And that's what we as a community need to understand, that when we see our other brothers, our community members down, the risk to going back to saving one. If we all had that approach, I think our community would be in a better position than it is.
So you heard what he said, and that was profound what this brother said, although I don't necessarily agree with that sentiment. Now, what this young brother did for his younger brother, right, is what you're supposed to do when you're straight family, like blood. But he's basically saying the risk that you take, he's using this situation as an analogy. This brother who was deleted, he saw his younger brother who was wounded from the gunshots, and he ran back to help him. Then he was killed. Okay. He's using this example as an analogy to illustrate that, you know, when people leave the community and they want to come back and help, the risk that they take is death. Okay, let me repeat. When you leave the community, you want to come back and help, you have a high likelihood of dying. Okay? So is the risk worth the reward? That's something you're going to have to ask yourself.
Members down, the risk to going back to saving one. If we all had that approach, I think our community would be in a better position than it is.
Sisters of 31-year-old Joseph Wama Jr., who was killed inside his home during the shooting rampage, describe him as a loving man and a skilled sketch artist.
I'm going to miss that beautiful smile. I really am. He had the best hugs. And he took care of his family.
Woo, man, this is deep.
Salt and Light Church in Kingsessing will be hosting an interfaith prayer vigil tonight at 7 p.m. as families continue to mourn the dead. We're live outside of police headquarters. Maggie Kent, Channel 6 Action News.
Accused and suspected. He's the man accused and suspected of killing those 5 people and injuring others. I'm Jason Martinez.
And I'm Sheba Russell. He is facing a long list of charges. The district attorney offering an update today on all of that. But first, we want to get to Kelly Rule, the suspect facing a judge for the first time. Kelly.
Today we spoke with the grandmother of Kimbrady Carriker. She tells me his family is devastated. She personally hasn't spoken with him in 2 months, but says this was out of character for him. And she has the same question so many others do tonight. Why?
He's a respectful young man with me.
A woman who identified herself as 40-year-old Kimbrady Carriker's grandmother spoke with Fox 29 on the condition that we did not show her face or use her name. Her grandson accused of killing 5 innocent people in a mass shooting Monday night in Kingsessing, according to...
Wow, so let's see what grandmama say. Lord have mercy. I pray that she is not coping for this super gremlin on demon time.
Police. Like herself, she says Carriker's parents are also in shock.
He didn't come off like that. You see what I'm saying? They're devastated. They want to know what happened. Why? Same question everybody wants to know in the family.
Carriker was arraigned via video conference this morning on 10 sets of charges for 10 victims, the 5 who were murdered and the others wounded by gunfire or injured during the chaos. He only spoke when answering yes to a few basic questions. Police say Carriker was arrested wearing a ski mask and bulletproof vest, armed with an AR-style rifle and handgun after opening fire, seemingly at random, in the area of 56th and Chester Streets around 8:30 Monday night. Officials say Carriker was convicted of a misdemeanor in 2005 that does not prohibit him from owning a gun, but he was not licensed to carry. Carriker's grandmom says he told her he carried a gun for protection.
He said, well, everybody should have one. I told him, no, not my house. I never seen the gun he had. He just told me he had it.
Was he angry about anything? Did he express that he was upset about anything?
See, 2 months, I haven't seen him for 2 months, and that was unusual.
District Attorney Larry Krasner said a handwritten will dated June 23rd was found at Carriker's home, and people who lived with him told his office it was normal for him to keep guns in the house and wear a vest, but he was becoming more and more agitated recently. This neighbor told Fox 29 Tuesday he met Carriker last week.
I went to my crib, I met him, but he looked like he was fine. Wasn't nothing wrong with him. Completely normal. He told me he was a town watchman around here, yeah. He said he was a town watchman. I was like, all right.
Carriker.
He said he was the town watch, the neighborhood watch, whatever you want to call it. Lulled the community to sleep. Then he completely turned on them. It's ridiculous.
Carriker's grandmother says she never heard that directly from her grandson.
That's what I heard from the streets. I'm telling you, this is a whole new ball game. With me, I ain't know none of that stuff. It's a whole new ball game.
There was no bail set today for the 5 murder charges, but bail was set at $1.5 million for each wounded victim and those injured by shattered glass. Carriker's next court date is scheduled for July 24th.
Kelly Rule, thank you very much. And Jeff, what else are you learning? Larry Krasner is calling the mass shooting random, premeditated, and deliberate. Jeff, what else are you learning?
Well, not only did Larry Krasner and his prosecutors say that the alleged shooter in this case was acting more and more agitated in the days leading up to the alleged attack, but that he was seen in the house wearing a bulletproof vest and in his hands the gun alleged to have been used Monday night. In the Salt and Light Church of Southwest Philadelphia, the sisters of 31-year-old Joseph Wama speak of their brother, slain Monday in the mass killing in Kingsessing that shocked this violence-weary city. One sister speaking directly to the accused killer.
You shot yourself, Jasmine. Just try to calm down. I know it's hard. We
I
know.
nothing but anger. It's nothing but anger. I'm sorry. You killed the wrong person.
You killed the wrong person is crazy. How about you shouldn't kill at all? See, this is the cognitive dissonance that sisters operate under. You killed the wrong person. Hey, I mean, you shouldn't be killing at all. I mean, I don't want to go too hard on the grieving, but isn't that kind of selfish? You know, you killed the wrong person. You're supposed to kill that other ninja over there. One of the other ones you injured, not mine's. You know, I don't know. I mean, that's what came out. She's grieving. So be it.
Gathering in the church was called by DA Larry Krasner, whose prosecutors say a search of accused killer Kimbrady Carriker's home turned up live rounds of ammunition matching the weapon he's alleged to have used in the slaughter, killing 5. Along with a handgun, they found a will written on June 23rd, but would not speak on its contents. They did say the 40-year-old's housemates believe he was unraveling in the days before the shooting.
I believe they thought he was getting more and more agitated as the days were passing, and their way of dealing with it was just to avoid it and not interfere with him, even though they all lived in the same house.
Investigators say the housemates report Carriker would walk around wearing a bulletproof vest and carry the AR-15 military-style weapon he's believed to have used in the rampage. Investigators say he posted threats on social media, and although identifying as male, has been pictured wearing women's clothing, prompting threats aimed at trans women.
They are not killers. They are the most vulnerable to violence. They want to live their lives.
Wait, well, hold on. Where the hell did trans? What the?
And they have every right to do so.
What the?
And carry the AR-15 military-style weapon he's believed to have used in the rampage. Investigators say he posted threats on social media, and although identifying as male, has been pictured wearing women's clothing, prompting threats aimed at trans women.
So he identifies as male, but he cross-dresses and threatens trans women. So this is a super trans gremlin on demon time.
They are not killers. They are the most vulnerable to violence. They want to live their lives, and they have every right to do so.
The DA says the investigation is ongoing as Carriker is charged and the families mourn.
One thing I really love and admire about him, he had a great sense of humor, and I'm just waiting for him to say, hey, this is a prank, but it's just like, it's hard to wake up from this.
Now, public officials are urging the residents of this city, the public, that if they see somebody acting in a dangerous way, which they believe this man was, if they see posts on social media that they think are threatening, they ask the public to call them, to alert them, but they seem to understand the inherent fear in all of that. In Southwest Philly, Jeff Cole, Fox 29 News. Folks.
Jeff, did the DA's office say what he was growing more and more agitated over in the days leading up to Monday's mass shooting?
They did not. They are quoting and responding to what his housemates have said about him. But they do say that somehow he was more agitated, that for some reason he was inside the home wearing a vest and brandishing that gun. They all knew of the gun. Why he was agitated, why he was acting in this way, they simply have not said at this point.
All right, Jeff Cole, thank you.
Gang violence and other kind of violence. So it is what it is.